Be my boyfriend, just for a week. She said it like she was ordering coffee. I almost choked on my soda. My name is Nathan Cole. I live in Chicago and work as a forensic accountant. That sounds cleaner than it feels. In simple words, I am the guy companies call when they are afraid someone inside is stealing from them. I follow money, not people. Numbers lie less. Her name is Avery Lane. She is the youngest vice president at Stonebridge Capital, the big private equity firm on the top floors of the glass tower on Wacker. If they own it, half the city feels it. She is the one in the photos at charity galas, the one journalists call Stonebridge's golden girl, with a smile that never reaches her eyes. Tonight we were in the same room for one reason. Stonebridge's board hired me to review their books before a major vote. Officially, I was here to validate risk controls. In reality, I was here to see if someone was moving money where it did not belong. The fundraiser was at a hotel rooftop, downtown. Warm lights, fake ferns, white tablecloths, and the kind of soft jazz that makes people forget what they are saying. The skyline looked close enough to touch through the floor-to-ceiling windows. I had a badge that said consultant, and a drink that did not match the room. Soda, no ice. I wanted a clear head. My suit was plain. My tie was dark and simple. I looked like another vendor trying not to scare donors. From my corner near the back wall, I could see everything in the reflection of the glass. I saw Avery before she saw me. Black dress, sharp shoulders, her dark hair pulled back. Not fancy, just exact. She was talking to a cluster of older men in expensive suits, her smile easy, her hands still. You could tell she was tired by the way her shoulders dropped when they turned away. Then I saw him, Logan Pierce, son of the firm's founder. The one person in every file the board sent me that made numbers bend. He had the disinterested face rich kids wear like a uniform. He stood at the bar, talking too close to a junior analyst who laughed like she wanted to leave. He thought no one was watching. He was wrong. I was watching him in the window when I heard Avery's voice beside me. "You stare like an auditor," she said. I turned. She stood by my table, holding a glass of something clear. Up close, her eyes were a cold blue that still managed to look warm when she wanted. Right now, they did not look warm. "You hired me," I said. "The board hired you," she corrected. "I am just the one who has to live with the report." I did not answer that. It was true. She looked at my untouched drink. "You are not enjoying yourself," she said. "I am working," I said. "The two do not mix." "Then you picked the right job," she said. She glanced over her shoulder. I followed her eyes in the glass. Logan was looking our way now. His gaze slid over Avery, then stopped on me, like he was trying to decide if I mattered. "He knows you are here," I said. "He knows people like you are here," she said. "He does not know you yet. That is the problem. He thinks everyone is his audience." The way she said it made something in my chest tighten. "Why did you come over?" I asked. "Because he is about to come over," she said calmly, "and I am tired of dealing with him alone." She lifted her phone. The screen lit her face for a second. She typed something fast, then turned the screen so I could read. "Be my boyfriend for this week." Fake, public, controlled. I will explain. My first reaction was simple. "No," I said. Avery's mouth did not move. Only her eyes changed. They hardened. "You listen for patterns," she said softly. "Listen now." She tilted her head slightly toward the bar. In the glass, Logan moved, said something to the bartender, then started in our direction. His drink was full. His smile was ready. "You see the donors behind him?" she asked. I saw them. A group of older board members, wives in bright dresses, watching the room like it belonged to them. "They think I am too young," Avery said. "Too soft on staff, too attached to this city. Logan thinks that is his opening." She lifted her glass and took a slow sip. Her hand did not shake. Her voice stayed low and even. "He has been leaking stories," she said. "Whispers about my personal judgment. Late nights at the office. People I am too close to. He wants to make me look unstable before the vote. And you want a fake boyfriend to fix that, I said. I want a shield that looks like a choice, she said. If I stand alone, I am emotional and difficult. If I stand with someone who looks like he does not scare easy, the story gets harder to tell. Hire security, I said. Security works for the firm, she replied. And Logan plays golf with half of them. She set her glass down and pulled something from a slim folder she had tucked under her arm, a printout, folded once, neat. She slid it across the cocktail table toward me. My own name stared up from the page. Under it, a list of access logs I had requested from the firm's internal network. At the bottom, one line in red ink. 2 of your requests were copied to Logan's private email before they reached my desk. I looked up. You think he knows I am tracking him, I said. I know he does, she said. He made a joke about bean counters who dig too deep in front of half the floor this morning. That tracked with the things I had heard, which means, Avery continued, you are already in this. He just does not see your face yet. If you stand next to me, he has to change the story. If you do not, he will use us both and blame me. She took her phone back and typed again. Her fingers were quick and sure. 1 week. Public boyfriend. Private rules. No leverage. No strings after. She pushed the phone toward me again. And your rules? I asked. Honesty, she said. No scenes we do not agree on. No lies that trap you in my mess. If I say stop, you stop. If you say stop, I stop. We do not pretend outside the places we choose. She watched my face while she said it. No blush, no flirt, just clean terms. Logan's reflection grew closer in the glass. You are asking me to stand in front of a man who hates you, I said. I am asking you to stand beside me, she said. So he cannot push me without hitting you too. The music shifted to something slower. People moved to the dance floor. The air smelled like perfume and money and the sharp bite of whiskey. I thought about the offshore transfers I had already flagged, the vendor that did not exist, the way Logan's name slid around the edges of too many approvals. I thought about the way the board had spoken about Avery in our first meeting. She is talented, but she is smart, but she cares too much, but the ice in someone's glass cracked loud across the room. It sounded like an answer. I set my soda down. Fine, I said. I will be your boyfriend for a week. Avery did not smile in triumph. She let out a breath I would not have noticed if I had not been watching her closely. Good, she said. Then here are my rules. Logan reached us at that exact second, hand already outstretched, smile wide. Avery, he said, you did not introduce me to your friend. She turned to me, then back to him, and slid her hand into mine. This is my boyfriend, Nathan, she said. He is here with me all week. Her fingers tightened once around mine, a signal I was sure I would spend the rest of the night trying to decode. Logan's grip was the kind you learn in prep school. Firm, practiced, just a little too long. So, he said, eyes flicking down to where Avery's hand was wrapped around mine. This is new. Avery's thumb pressed once against the side of my hand. Rule. Stay. We do not send you memos about my life, she said. Logan laughed like she had made a joke for him. I'd like to be informed about key risk areas, he replied. He meant her, not the firm, not the money, her. I kept my face calm. Nathan, I said, nice to meet you. I did not offer anything else. No title, no firm name, no context. Let him wonder. Logan's gaze slid over me, trying to pin me down. What do you do, Nathan? He asked. Math, I said. He waited for more. I did not give it. Avery squeezed my hand again, just a little. He is very good with numbers, she added in a flat tone that somehow sounded like a warning. For a second, I saw something cold flicker in Logan's eyes. Then his smile snapped back into place. Well, he said, good to see you relaxing for once, Avery. You work too much. People start to think you are trying to prove something. She rolled her glass between her fingers. I am trying to keep this place from collapsing under your hobbies, she said. He chuckled. as if she had said something adorable. "Try not to embarrass yourself in front of the donors," he whispered, leaning in a little too close. "Or your math guy." Avery's grip on my hand tightened to the point of pain, then eased. "We were just leaving," she said. She turned her body toward mine in a clear cue. "When you move, I move," she had said the night before. I moved. "Nice to meet you," I said to Logan, and meant none of it. We walked away together, her hand in mine, the city lights reflected in the glass, as if the whole skyline was watching us lie. In the hallway outside the ballroom, the sound dropped. The music was muffled. The air smelled like cleaning supplies and leftover cologne. Avery let go of my hand and leaned back against the wall for a second, closing her eyes. The pose would have looked relaxed to anyone else. Up close, I could see the tension in her jaw. "Rule 1, she said quietly, "we never break character in front of him." "I noticed," I said. She opened her eyes again. "Rule 2, she added, "you do not get to improvise my life. If I call something off, you follow my lead. I will do the same for you." "Fair," I said. "Rule 3, she said, and her mouth curved. "You cannot look at me like you are writing a report when I am pretending to be your girlfriend. It ruins the illusion." "I look at everyone like I am writing a report," I said. "I can tell," she replied. "Dial it down 10%. We stood there in the quiet hallway, our fake relationship printed in invisible ink between us. "What are your rules?" she asked. I thought about it. "No surprises," I said. "You do not drag me into a scene without warning if you can help it. No lying in ways that destroy my work. And if someone asks me directly about us in private, I am allowed to say we are complicated." Her eyebrows rose. "You are already planning the breakup," she said. "I am planning the exit," I said. "That is what you hired me for." She tilted her head. "I did not hire you," she said, "but I am borrowing you." Her phone buzzed. She checked it and grimaced. "Board wants to move the strategy retreat up," she said. 3 days at the firm's lodge in Michigan instead of next month. Logan is pushing it. He wants us on his turf, away from press, before your report hits." "Are you going?" I asked. She stared at the message, then at me. "Yes," she said. "And you are coming with me." I waited for the rational part of my brain to object. It stayed quiet. "When?" I asked. "Friday morning," she said. "The week starts then. Until next Friday night, you are officially my boyfriend." She did not say thank you. Instead, she straightened, adjusted the strap of her dress, and picked up her glass again. "Come on," she said. "I have to say hello to 3 donors who think my job is to look pretty and agree with them." "Do you want me there?" I asked. She looked me over. "Yes," she said. "But you only get to watch." Quote. That night, when the fundraiser was done and the jazz finally died, she walked out of the hotel with me instead of her usual cluster of colleagues. The air was cold and sharp. The river glowed dark under the streetlights. Her driver waited at the curb beside a black sedan. My train stop was 3 blocks away. "Text me when you get home," she said. "That is not part of the job," I replied. "It is part of the role," she said. She unlocked her phone and handed it to me. The contact list was a long scroll of names. I added mine and typed Nathan, real one, as a joke. She saw it, and for the first time that night, a real smile broke through. "Rule 4, she said. "You do not get to label yourself." "Too late," I said, giving the phone back. She opened our empty message thread, typed something, and hit send. My phone buzzed in my pocket a second later. "This is Avery. Do not call me past midnight unless it is an emergency." "This is cold," I said. "It is clear," she replied. "I like clear." "That makes 2 of us," I said. She looked at me like she believed that. "Nathan," she said just before she got into the car, "do you ever get scared?" "Of what?" I asked. "Of being wrong," she said. "Every time I sign a report," I replied. "That is why I check twice." She held my eyes for a second longer than she had to. "Good," she said. "Check me twice." She got into the car and left me on the curb with a phone that now contained a person I was not sure how to categorize. At home, my apartment felt smaller than usual. 2 rooms, 1 table, 1 tired plant in the window. My life fit in straight lines. My books were stacked in perfect order. My notes on Stonebridge were spread across the table, every line color-coded. I opened my laptop and pulled up the vendor file that had started this whole mess. A firm called Northview Consulting. No website, no physical address, just an email, a routing number, and a series of payments that did not match any actual work. Someone had approved those payments. Not Avery. Her electronic signature was missing. Another set of credentials had been used at 2:13 a.m. on a Sunday. The access logs attached to the file pinged something in my head. I cross-checked them with the list Avery had slid to me, the same IP that had forwarded my log request to Logan. He was not just sloppy, he was arrogant. He thought no one would look. My phone buzzed. A new message. "You home?" I typed back. "Yes." "You?" Her reply came fast. "Barely." "What are you doing?" I considered the professional answer. "Reviewing logs." I sent the real one, wondering what I just agreed to. 3 dots appeared, then stopped, then came back. She was editing herself. "Welcome to my world," she wrote. I stared at the thread longer than I should have. Then I put the phone face down, grabbed a pen, and wrote on the top page of my Stonebridge file. "Week starts Friday. Do not forget the rules." By Thursday afternoon, the rules were already bending. We ran into each other in the elevator lobby at the Stonebridge building. She wore a charcoal suit and looked like every inch of her was under control except her eyes. Those gave her away if you knew where to look. 2 analysts from her team stood nearby, pretending not to stare. "Nathan," she said, stepping closer, "you are early." "Traffic was light," I said. She reached for my arm, not my hand, her fingers wrapping around my sleeve in a way that looked casual and felt anything but. "Walk me to the conference room," she said. We moved down the hallway together. I could feel the analysts' eyes on our backs. "This is not part of the schedule," I murmured. "Logan has been sniffing around my floor all morning," she answered under her breath. "If he thinks I am here alone, he will try something before we leave." "What kind of something?" I asked. "Rumors," she said. A concerned conversation with HR about my stress, a suggestion that I should take a break from the vote. We turned the corner. Logan was at the far end of the hallway, leaning against the glass, talking to a senior partner. His gaze slid to us. The partners followed. Without thinking too hard about it, I shifted my arm and let Avery's hand slide down into mine. Her fingers curled around mine like they had done it before. It was a simple motion, clean, controlled. And when Logan saw it, his smile did something new. It cracked. When his smile cracked, I knew the week had really started. Logan pushed off the glass and walked toward us. The senior partner beside him watched Avery's hand in mine like it was a new line item he did not know how to categorize. "My God," Logan said, "is the Ice Queen in love?" Avery's thumb pressed once against my hand. "Rule, stay calm." "If you start calling women that," I said, "you should fire your PR team before they quit in shame." The partner coughed, half laugh, half warning. Logan's eyes narrowed for a second, then he turned the grin on the partner instead. "Relax," he said. "We are just joking." Avery's fingers tightened, then eased. "We are leaving for the lodge at 8 tomorrow," she said. "You will be there, right, Logan? Or do you have other hobbies booked?" His gaze flicked to her, sharp. "Would not miss it," he said. "The board wants everyone together. Fresh air, clear minds. You should bring your boyfriend. I look forward to getting to know him." Quote. He looked back at me. I held his eyes, steady. "Same," I said. He walked away, the partner trotting beside him like a smaller planet. Avery let out a breath through her nose. "That," she said, "was him changing plans." "How do you know?" I asked. "Because he does not invite people into rooms he cannot control unless he has something planned for them," she said. She let go of my hand only when we reached the conference room. Inside, 3 board members and the general counsel waited, papers on the table. Coffee cups. No Logan. The chair, a woman in her 60s named Carter, nodded at me. "Mr. Cole," she said, "you have what you need for the weekend." "Yes," I said. "I will have a preliminary review ready by Sunday night. The full picture will take longer." She nodded once. "And you are joining us at the lodge," she added, as if confirming it with herself too. "I am," I said. Avery sat beside me. Her knee brushed mine under the table. Not an accident. A steady point in a room that shifted with every sentence. The meeting stayed dry and polite. Risk, exposure, timelines. The words people use when they want to sound brave while they hedge every bet. When it was over, Carter closed her notebook. "Avery," she said, "Logan requested some time with you before we leave tomorrow. Said he had concerns about your stress level." Avery's jaw worked once. "I am fine," she said. "I believe you," Carter said, "but we cannot ignore a senior partner's concern. I thought it might help if you did not meet with him alone." Her eyes moved to me. "You want me there," I said. "I want another witness there," she replied. Avery glanced at me, then back at Carter. "We have plans tonight," she said. "Tomorrow morning, then," Carter said, "before the flight." Avery nodded once. The conversation moved on, but the shape of the weekend had changed. On Friday morning, the air over the private terminal smelled like jet fuel and cold metal. The Stonebridge jet sat on the tarmac like a silver thread. Inside the small lounge, staff and partners clustered in groups. Luggage lined the wall. Laughter floated above the low rumble of business talk. "My name is Nathan Cole. I do not belong in rooms like this. I belong in small offices with bad lighting, staring at numbers until they make sense." Right now, I stood with Avery near the large window, a carry-on at my feet, her hand looped through my arm like it belonged there. Logan was late on purpose. When he walked in, conversations paused. He wore a navy coat and a scarf that probably cost more than my rent. He scanned the room, saw us, and headed straight over. "Avery," he said. "Nathan, ready for a cozy weekend in the woods?" "Cozy is not the word I would use," Avery said. "You should relax," he replied. "This is a strategy retreat, not a trial." "Feels like both," I said. He smiled at me like we shared a joke. "Can I borrow Avery for a moment?" he asked. Connor wanted me to check in. Avery's hand tightened on my arm. "We can talk here," she said. "It is personal," he said. "Then it should not be at work," I answered. He looked at me with new interest, like he was deciding what kind of threat I was. "You really follow the rules," he said. "I like clear lines," I replied. His jaw tightened, just a little. "Fine," he said. "Sit then." We took seats in a row of chairs along the wall. Logan dropped into the one opposite us, leaning forward, elbows on his knees, posture casual, eyes sharp. "I have noticed some concerning behavior," he said, in the falsely gentle voice people use when they want to sound kind and feel powerful. "From whom?" Avery asked. "From you," he said. "The late nights, the snapping at staff, the sudden appearance of a boyfriend in the middle of a critical review." He glanced at me like I was a prop. "I worry you are not thinking clearly," he added. Avery's mouth curved, not in a smile. "You worry I am not easy to move," she said. He shrugged. "The board needs stability," he said. "If your judgment is compromised, maybe sitting this vote out would be best. Take a break. Let the people with more distance handle it." There it was, the offer dressed up as concern. "Do you have any proof my judgment is compromised?" she asked. "Whispers," he said. "Stories. People talk. They say you are too close to staff, too close to certain vendors, too close to this city." "People like you," I said. He turned those cold eyes on me. "You think you know my world," he said. "I know your numbers," I said. "They are messy." Avery's thumb pressed once against my wrist where she had moved her hand. "Rule, do not say more than we agreed." Logan saw the movement. His smile sharpened. "Be careful, Nathan," he said. "If you tie yourself to her, you sink when she does." "I do not tie myself to liars," I said. For a second, something ugly flashed across his face. Then the boarding call broke the moment. Staff started lining up. Carter gestured for us. "This conversation is not over," Logan murmured. "Yes," Avery said. "It is." On the plane, seats were arranged in pairs facing each other. Avery took one by the window and nodded for me to sit beside her. Logan ended up across the aisle, close enough to hear anything we did not hide. As the plane climbed, the city shrank into a grid of light. Clouds swallowed us. The noise of the engines settled into a steady roar. Avery reached into her bag and pulled out a folder. She set it on the tray table between us. "These are the approvals with Northview," she said. "Everyone that has a timestamp outside normal hours." I flipped through them. Each one had a pattern: late night, weekend, same IP cluster, same internal token used. "Your login was used twice," I said. "I was not even in the city those nights," she said. "I was in Dallas for a conference." "I have flight receipts." "We will pull badge data and hotel keys when we land," I said. "If your badge was somewhere else, they forged your access." Her jaw clenched. "He wants me to feel crazy," she said. "He wants me to doubt what I remember." "Do you?" I asked. She looked at me like she wanted to lie and could not. "Sometimes," she said quietly, "when enough people repeat the same story, it starts to sound like truth." I leaned back, letting the hum of the engines fill the space for a second. "Look at me," I said. She turned her head, met my eyes. "Logan's story only works if it stays in the dark," I said. "You brought me in to turn the lights on. That is what I am doing. If I find something that hurts you, you will see it first. If I find something that clears you, you will see that too. Either way, you are not standing in front of this alone." Her hand tightened on the edge of the folder. "Rule check," she said softly. "What?" I asked. "You said no lies that trap us," she said. "Does that promise trap you?" "Yes," I said, "but it is mine. I chose it." Her gaze softened in a way that had nothing to do with the fake label we were wearing. "That is the problem," she said. "What is?" I asked. "You do not look like someone pretending," she said. The plane bumped through a patch of rough air. A few people gasped. Avery did not flinch. She kept her eyes on me like she had grabbed onto something solid. "Neither do you," I said. Her mouth twitched. "Do you ever break your rules?" she asked. "Only when someone deserves it," I said. The corners of her eyes crinkled. "Good," she said. "Because when we land, I am going to ask you to do something that will make this feel even more real." Quote, "The lodge looked like money pretending to be rustic. Huge stone fireplace, dark wood beams, big windows facing the frozen lake. Outside, the pines were heavy with snow. Inside, people in suits tried to look comfortable in flannel. My name is Nathan Cole. I came here to follow numbers. I was now also the fake boyfriend of the one person Logan wanted off the board's radar. Avery stood beside me in the lobby as staff handed out key cards. She wore a simple sweater and dark jeans, nothing flashy, but she still looked like the center of gravity in every room. Logan watched us from across the stone floor, leaning on the check-in counter like he owned the building. She slid a small card into my hand. "Room 214, she said. "Mine is 215. They put us side by side." "You expected that," I said. "Of course," she replied. "It makes it easier for him if he thinks we sneak between rooms all night." One more story to whisper. "Do we?" I asked. She held my eyes for a second, then looked away. "We follow the rules," she said. Her phone buzzed. A message from Carter. "Meeting in the lake room in 20 minutes. Strategy session. All partners." Nathan invited. She glanced at me. "You still willing to feel too real?" she asked quietly. "What do you need?" I asked. "I need you to sit beside me," she said. "I am going to say something they do not expect." The lake room had a long table and a wall of windows. The ice outside glowed pale blue under a gray sky. Inside, coffee steamed and tension sat heavy. Logan took a chair near the middle. Carter sat at the head. Avery chose a spot across from Logan, toward the end. I took the seat next to her. Our knees brushed under the table. It grounded us both. Carter opened with polite words about growth and opportunity. Then she shifted. "Before we begin," she said, "Logan raised concerns about internal controls, offshore exposure, and leadership stability. Nathan, you have been reviewing our systems. Any early impressions?" Every head turned. I clicked the pen in my hand once and set it down. No notes, no slides, just my voice. There are issues, I said. A consulting vendor called Northview with no online presence. Payments routed through an offshore bank. Approval logs that do not line up with travel records. Internal emails about risk that never reached the people who should have seen them. Logan laughed softly. So we are sloppy, he said. That is why you are here. I did not say sloppy, I said. I said intentional. The room went quiet. Carter's eyes sharpened. Explain, she said. I slid a thin folder I had brought onto the table and opened it so everyone could see. These are the Northview approvals, I said. Each signed with internal credentials at odd hours. Here are Avery's travel receipts. On 2 of the nights her login was used, she was in Dallas. Her badge checked into a hotel there. Her phone hit a tower 3 states away. But her credentials were used from a Chicago IP address. I pointed to the second page. Here are the access logs, I said. Same IP cluster that forwarded my internal log requests to a private email before they got to Avery. The email belongs to Logan. Quote, a ripple went through the room like a low wave. Logan's chair creaked. Anyone could have used that machine, he said. You have no proof it was me. I turned another page. This is camera footage from outside the network room, I said. Time-stamped within 1 minute of each suspicious login. The badge opening the door belongs to your assistant. She reports directly to you. Carter leaned forward. Logan, she said, is there a reason your email and your team's credentials would be involved in these approvals? He spread his hands like he was helpless. I manage growth, he said. We needed new channels. Maybe details got messy. That does not make me a criminal. It does raise questions about oversight. Avery has been distracted. All eyes slid to her. She did not shrink. She sat up straighter. That is what you want them to believe, she said. That I am too emotional to see what you are doing. That I am too attached to this firm to call it out. She reached into her bag and pulled out another folder. This one, thicker. She set it beside mine. This is my part, she said. Every time I flagged an inconsistency, Logan redirected the conversation. He pushed this retreat up. He pushed for you to bring in Nathan, not because he cares about risk, but because he thought he could use Nathan's presence as proof I was unstable. Logan scoffed. You showed up at a fundraiser with a boyfriend no one knew, he said. You are not exactly defending your own case. Avery's hand slid onto my wrist under the table. Light, steady. That was my choice, she said. What you did was try to sabotage the process. She looked at Carter. Before we left, she said, I filed a confidential report to compliance. I attached everything Nathan found, every forwarded log, every mismatched timestamp. I also disclosed our relationship because I knew he would use it if I did not. The word relationship landed harder than any document. Carter looked at me. I nodded once. It is real enough to declare, I said, and I stand by my work. Logan's face went flat. This is insane, he said. You are both compromised. You dragged an outsider into our internal politics, and now you want to punish me for doing my job. You moved company money off the books, I said. You used another executive's credentials. You tried to push her out before anyone could connect the lines. That is not your job. Carter lifted her hand. Enough, she said. Her gaze went around the table, taking in every face. We will conduct a formal investigation, she said. Effective immediately, Logan, you are suspended from decision-making and system access. You will remain at the lodge until our counsel has spoken with you. He stood up fast, chair scraping. You cannot do that, he snapped. I can, she said, and I will. Sit down. For a second, I thought he might walk out. Instead, he dropped back into the chair like someone had cut his strings. The rest of the meeting blurred. Procedures. Next steps. Legal phrases in plain voices. What stayed sharp was Avery's hand on my wrist, and the way she kept her head high, even when the weight of every eye pressed down. When Carter finally adjourned, people left in clumps. Some nodded to Avery as they passed. Some avoided her gaze. Logan disappeared with counsel. Avery did not move. You okay? I asked. She let out a slow breath. I feel like I jumped off a building and the ground has not decided what to do with me yet. she said. Right now, the ground is holding, I said. She looked at our hands, still linked. Rule check, she said quietly. We made this feel very real. It is, I said. At least on my side. Her eyes lifted to mine, quick and searching. Even if none of this existed, I said, nodding toward the folders, the room, I would still be here. Her mouth parted like she wanted to argue. Then she closed it again. Come outside, she said. We walked down a side hall to a door that led to a small balcony. The cold hit hard. Our breath showed in small clouds. The lake glittered under thin sunlight. Somewhere on the other side of the lodge, people kept talking about risk and return. Out here, it was just us. Avery folded her arms against the cold. I took off my coat and put it around her shoulders. It swallowed her, making her look smaller and somehow stronger. Thank you, she said, for standing next to me when everyone in that room could have decided I was the problem. That is not why I did it, I said. I know, she replied. That is what scares me. She turned to face me fully. When I asked you to be my boyfriend for a week, she said, I thought it would be a role, a tool. I did not plan for you to feel this real. You wrote the rules, I said. I just followed them. Her hand slipped into mine again, fingers fitting like they had on the first night, only now there was no script. Then I am changing one, she said. Which one? I asked. The part where you walk away Friday, she said. If you still want to leave, you can. No leverage, no pressure. But I am not going to pretend I only needed you for the week. The lake was quiet. My heart was not. I do not want to leave, I said. Not if staying means this is real on both sides. She took one step closer. It is, she said. On mine, too. I lifted my free hand and brushed a strand of hair away from her face. She did not flinch. She watched me like she was letting someone see her without armor for the first time in a long time. Can I kiss you? I asked. Yes, she said. Only if you mean it. I did. The kiss was not perfect. Our noses were cold. My coat shifted. Her fingers tightened on my hand like she was hanging onto a ledge and a lifeline at the same time. But it was steady and sure and exactly true. When we pulled back, she leaned her forehead against mine and laughed once under her breath. What? I asked. I asked for a fake boyfriend for 1 week, she said. You turned it into something I do not want to give back. That is on you, I said. You wrote rules that made it feel too real. She smiled, small and honest. Good, she said. Then keep them. She slid her hand down my arm and laced our fingers again. After this week, she said, I do not want you to be my fake anything. Then what am I? I asked. She squeezed my hand. You are my real one, she